Welcome back to my Hinnom multiplayer series. This is episode, I believe, 5. Turn 14. Let's get into it. So, we find 2 magic sites. Battlefield, which is 1 death gem. Quicksand, I think, is 1 earth income. Have 1 independent battle. This is the heavy cavalry that's been in our cap circle. This looked very intimidating. Have what looks like maybe 12, maybe 15 heavy cavalry, which is pretty scary to face, no matter the age you're in. We brought a lot of troops, some leftover tramplers, and we handle the heavy cavalry. For this independence, I just think I needed to bring some overwhelming numbers to handle the cavalry, though the trampling certainly helped to add some additional damage output. We rout them. Cool. Any losses? We lost 1 chariot. Awesome. I don't want to pay maintenance for these chariots, as it doesn't look like I'll be going into war soon. 2 events, 4 fire gems, an effigy of war. We'll get into that in a moment. It's an item. We construct a fort on the left there. So we're showing the fort first. This is on the border we have with Micklin, getting a temple in, and we're getting the next level fort in here. Other forts. We're building this one still. I think it has its slab. We're starting some troop recruitment, or mage recruitment. Doing another shaman for site searching, I think. Building a lab on this Crystal Sorceress province, so we can start recruiting them. I'm not doing a fort there yet, but I do have the lab, so the idea for this is to just start slow recruitment of these mages. They're useful to build up as they can communion. They're as good researchers as my national mages here, but I think they cost like 20 less gold, so it's good to get a pile of them going. Wrapping up this last province, have this commander moving here to build a fort. Still some more shaman site searching. How many do we have at right now? Looks like 2 shaman. We're building a fort in this wasteland province. So for Hinnom, you have a problem where your balls and melkurts like to eat a lot of population over time. So a solution to not eating out your valuable provinces is to dump them all into one place. Whatever your lowest population province is tends to be good, and in this case, this wasteland is also good because it lets us do our special blood summons. So Syrium and Shedim both need to be summoned from wastelands, so gonna stick a fort here, lab here, and shuffle all our melkurts and balls into this province where they're not doing other stuff. Let's see. We have scouts moving through Baratos, trying to get an idea of how it's going for him. We see 1, 2, 3 forts. Still see a few independents within his borders. So it looks like his expansion's been pretty rough. I think we know that Baratos expanded as far east as here, so we can assume he has control of this area. We don't know if he's conquered them yet. For us, we see one fort. And we know we made that border agreement with him early in the game. So it should mean like he didn't need to rush this northern land. And we see he didn't win the race to this choke point against Maverni. So we assume he focused all his expansion east. Satissa's capital is here. So it'll be interesting to see how big he is in this direction, and if he has any forts up and where they are. But the point of this scouting is I border Miklin, who's turning into a rump state and being eaten up. Might sort of border Maverni. I kind of border Arco. Arco's capital is here, and this is a choke point, so it would be kind of awkward to move in here, but I'm trying to figure out who I want to attack in my first war. I'm not going to immediately attack, as I have a lot of infrastructure I want to build up. Building up infrastructure when I'm larger than the average sized nation is kind of what I think is the right move to do if you're not time gated by other stuff. So that's why you can see like so many forts coming up and labs. I think I have 2 forts done. Building my 3rd here. Probably thinking about doing my next fort here, and got a fort building there. But as for expansion, like I'm Baratos and Russ are in the running right now. I have decent borders to fight both. And by decent borders, I mean I have a lot of land I can raid initially in the attack. And I have good access to their forts and their capital. I don't want to get bogged down in a long war, especially versus smaller powers. As that makes me like a target to get stabbed in the back. So that's why I'm not particularly looking at Arco to fight. Maverni I don't have good borders with, even if Miklin wasn't in the way. Kind of have a lot of forest here and swamp, so it's awkward to be flexible in my movement versus him. Who's the other one? Saramadia. Their capital is here. I also don't really have good borders for him, as I pretty much come right into his capital right away. I'm not too familiar with Saramadia's early research goals. I imagine it's sort of Skelly Spam and possibly Rigor Mortis. I don't think that matches up well for my troop-centric style I want to play. Let's see. Baratos is gonna rely on trying to get a blood economy up, which makes it weak early on, if he's sacrificing research to get those blood hunters out. Otherwise, his magic is mostly lightning damage, either through air elementals or lightning bolt and thunderstrike. And as we know, I have a lightning resistance plus, so Baratos would be a great matchup for me. Russ is also an option, but I'm less familiar with the nation compared to Baratos. I haven't played them yet. I don't think I've actually fought a war against them in any of my games yet, so this is the first time I had faced the nation. But their sacreds look pretty nasty. I think they're size 2. And they shape change on death into a bear to size 3. So my tramplers might handle them. But I don't like the matchup if he has a strong bless, so I don't have information on his bless yet, so I want to find that before considering it. He's also building these temples, And as far as I could tell looking at the nation, there's no reason for him to build temples in provinces unless they're forest. I think he gets a forest recruit mage, but I think he can still build a fort in those provinces, so I'm not sure why he's templing up both of these places. I might think that it's an independent mage that he's trying to get to recruit. But to like not then fort up along with the temples makes it like really awkward. Like I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish with this. You usually build the fort before temples if you're trying to get the indie mage. So not sure yet. We can see his scales aren't especially great. He has growth 3. Possibly drain. Not sure if we see him elsewhere. This looks like... Not sure who that is. That could be him as well. Over here, this could be his candles as well. We see order, no production, so it's not especially great scales to be pushing. So yeah, I don't have a lot of info on him. Let's see, finally the magic item, Effigy of War. So this is a pretty interesting random item to get. It allows me to put this on a commander with 1 troop, so let's see if I have troop anywhere. Sure, so let's say I put it... No, no lab there. Do we have troops here? No. Okay, well, we don't have any troops at the moment, but this item allows me to have well, it gives perceived army size plus 50, so if I put this on a commander with 1 Dawn Guard, enemy scouts are going to see that as about 50 Dawn Guards, so that's going to be very useful to mind game opponents in the early game, making them think my army's a lot bigger than it is, so I'm going to have a lot of fun with this item. I can see... Not sure if I showed this, but this is the item I won in the arena. Has +1 priest, which is pretty nice for a item to get off the arena. I think my entire nation is Holy 1, so that's pretty nice to get for preaching or blood sacking. What else? I think those 2 primarily right now. I think I got this as a random item. It's not really that good. Oh well. Maybe I'll shove it on a mage for some fight later on. Okay, this is actually it, I think. So we're on turn 14, going to 15. Finish construction, I think. Yeah, construction 3. Continuing to construction 4. 1 died to limping. Another independent battle. So that same army speeding on versus this big horse tribe province. It's a pretty easy fight. Would have liked for the chariot to die, but oh well. For losses, we lost 1 spearman. So you can see these giants are pretty efficient in fighting like average troops. Like horse tribe aren't necessarily that bad. They have really high defense, but you know, damage is a bit low. But Dawn Guard handle like those human infantry or human HP level troops pretty efficiently. Let's see, an event, 5 earth gems, cool. finish a fort, do some battle heal some battle afflictions on troops when they get back to the capital. What's going on this turn? So we're scouting here. We see Baratos has another fort here. See Baratos is blocked off up here. So Baratos is another pretty small nation. I shouldn't say another. They are a pretty small nation, but they have a lot of infrastructure, so it's looking like he's trying to greed for a stronger mid-game while sacking his early game, because he's not going to have a lot of troops to defend right now. And he's focusing on a lot of mage production. You see Baratos lost this province to independence. You see he still doesn't have this province in his cap circle, so he's having a little bit of a rough time. You see another temple, but this time in a forest, in his cap circle. So he's doing a lot of temple pushing. I think, looking back, I was more curious to see what this was, since he hadn't taken it. But I should have moved east to see how big Russ was, so sort of getting less important information compared to what I could be getting. Let's see. I think all my armies are sort of heading back to my capital. Expansion's mostly done. I think I'm moving this army here to take this, or at least attempt to take that. I can sort of see Marvernes pushing, Arco's possibly pushing. Miquelin's kind of being cleaned up right now. And oh, here's the pretender actually. Marverne has this thrice-horned boar, which I believe is earth and nature cross paths. So that's that. The AI for Miquelin is sitting in this throne province. They built a temple, so I'm sort of assuming they're building a fort there as well. So I want to get scouting info on that. If I have the option between taking an empty province or wait until the fort's done, I think I want to just take the empty province, so I don't need to deal with trying to crack the fort. So I'm thinking about using this army to attack that Miquelin throne as well. It's not a lot of troops, but with Miquelin's bless being gone from the pretender being dead, not sure jaguars are a huge threat. Building a lab here. I think we're recruiting priest. Yep. Are we still doing mages here? So sort of focusing on mage recruitment right now and infrastructure. This fort fully finishes, so that's nice. Also thinking about these two thrones. This one's pretty scary to think about attacking. Has a Mound Fiend in it, which means sort of Skelly Spam. This one's kind of awkward to get to right now, but it's on the thought process. Okay, so this is turn 15 to turn 16. Right, bit of site searching. Fine. I think that's a Nature 1 gem. Yep, cool. And I think that was it for the turn, no events. Searching in this swamp. I think we might be starting... I'm still doing a priest here. I think we're using this to preach in our borderlands, trying to push our dominion out a bit. And okay, we're hitting these barbs first before the Micklin province, so yeah, okay, I think the issue was we didn't have a way for the Melkart to get to this province, so we're just gonna merge up here before hitting this and sniping it away. Where's my scouts there? You can see a little Arco army, Macemen, Atlantan militia, Heltis, Spearmen. So I'm wondering if any of those are mercs. Swordmen are. So yeah, it appears that Micklin's still getting eaten up. In the Russ cap circle we see a pretty intimidating independent province. Living statues I think are size 320 protection statues with around 30 HP, so that is immensely scary to handle. It also has a golem flying in the province, which is a leader. Several stone monstras. So extremely scary independence. If you check the province, no events in it, so it just started that way. So Russ and Baratos both getting unlucky with the independence in their cap circle. A rough time for them. Scouting back up here to try to catch Russ's Bless, if he's using a Bless. So that's what that is up to. Moving here, I think, with Commander to build a fort. Moving here with a site searcher. Still building that fort. Site searching some more. Okay, here we go. So in my capital, I have a spare commander holding that effigy of war. Put one Dawn Guard on him. So I'm gonna begin with this tactic of making my army look bigger than it is. Where's this army off to? Okay, I guess this army's off to help with the Micklin throne next turn. That started. Oh, here we see Baratos' Pretender for the first time. It's a great enchantress, awake at turn 16, so we're assuming it was dormant and is now site searching. So we know he didn't take an awake for expansion, so a dormant Pretender is interesting as a researcher. So it's probably there for paths and path access. Could consider trying to kill it quickly, but I think Baratos has a lot of priest levels on their mages, so it wouldn't be so hard for them to preach it back to life. But something to think about. I think that'll cover it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.